We were having a healthy economy, which requires a balance. There's a supply coming in, there's a demand, and the demand is meeting the supply, and it's a balance. But what happened is suddenly the demand was cut off. Schools shut down, restaurants shut down, international airports shut down. Those big planes flying across the sky, leaving them them white streaks, chemtrails, or whatever you call them. They use millions of gallons of fuel. Everyone's told to go stay in their homes. Was insanity, but the demand was dramatically reduced suddenly. And then the supply continued to supply until what happened is off the West Coast, there was huge oil tankers sitting out there with costing $120,000 a day to sit there full of oil, no place to put it because every tank and every barrel was full. I'm going to show you where the oil needs to be stockpiled right now. By anybody and everybody, get every container you can, fill it up with oil. Because this supply interruption has been where there was a balance. It's like the apple cart was tipped over. When you tip over an apple cart, you got apples rolling all over the place. Everybody's saying, grab all these apples, apples everywhere, free apples, get the apples. But what nobody's paying attention to, the cart's empty. There's no more apples. There's not going to be any more apples. And so we're headed into some very difficult times, and I understand it because I got a message I'm going to show you in the scriptures. It's going to be, this is chapter 10 of 1 Corinthians. It talks about warnings from Israel's history. It says the things occurred to them as examples. It says they're all examples. Everything that was happening to them is written down as warnings for us on whom the fulfillment of the ages has come. And so you start to understand these stories I'm going to show you are examples. This is the story about the widow's oil. She was told to go get all the empty jars she could get, and don't ask for just a few. Put all the oil in the jars, and each one's filled. And then she's told that she'll be able to sell the oil and pay off her debts. When bombing of Yugoslavia was taking place, I saw on the news that gasoline was going for $25 a gallon. So there you see what oil's doing now, and this is another example for us, and it pertains to this time of the end. The next page talks about, this is in Kings, talks about the Lord has decreed famine on the land, that it will last for 7 years. 7 years of famine is coming. Talks about famine in the cities. These women's having problems. It says, what's the matter? It says, give up your son. We'll eat him today. Tomorrow we'll eat my son. And so we cooked my son and ate him. And then I said to her, give up your son. We may eat him, but she's hidden him. Now how crazy is that? That's an example of what we're headed into. These stories are examples. Got to remember that. There was a great famine in the city that lasted so long that a donkey's head sold for 80 shekels of silver and a quarter of a cab of seed pods for 5 shekels. Other versions talk about this being a cup of dove dung, which is crazy. Anyway, this is an example of what we're headed into, because these stories are examples for us upon whom the end is coming. And then I'm going to show you, here's a verse that just says the Lord is a warrior. That pertains to, that's in Deuteronomy, or Exodus 15:3. This verse right here is prophesying about 7 years of abundance are coming throughout the land, and then 7 years of famine will follow them. And then the abundance will be forgotten, and the famine will be so ravage the land, and the abundance will not be remembered, because the famine that follows will be so severe. And the dream was given to the Pharaoh, that the matter has been firmly decreed, and God will do it soon. But the Pharaoh's dream was about It was about these 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows that were eaten up. And the Pharaoh had the dream and he was troubled by it. Anyway, you can read this stuff for yourself. It's in Genesis chapter 41. These stories are examples. And the reason I'm telling you about this, that the stories are examples, because when you understand it as clearly as I do, then it becomes apparent. The 7 abundant years are over. This is the first lean year of 7 lean years that are coming. So you need to gather up as much supplies, oil, food, fuel, whatever you can get your hands on. Go get it and get it now, because you're out of time. It happens. This is going to happen when summer's near. It is at the door. It says it is in the spring at the time when kings go off to war. So that is another clue telling us when this will happen. Now we'll go to Matthew 24. It says right here, that when summer is near, it's at the door. Even so, when you see these things, you know that it's near, right at the door. The only thing we don't know is we don't know the day and we don't know the hour. But we can know pretty certain this is the year. The lean years have begun. Carry on. God bless you. Stock up.